What's up, Caden? How are you, buddy? Have you thought about doing like a bigger or a longer exploration of that abandoned hospital, Caden? I'd like to see some more of that. What's going on, Sharon? Jesse Good, Tijuana Border Jumper. Mega, how are you? So glad you guys are here with me. Hey, Janie. What's up, Joe? Puma Pete. Nick, how are you? Glenn, rockin' steady. Ricks. Hey, Jess B. How are you? Andy Davis, Tosh, Matt Fade. How are you, buddy? Derek Davies. Maggie, how are you? Red Cardinal. Dave Thompson. What's up, DB Mac? Mahala, how are you? Prayerful Mechanic J.A. Kathy Hayes. Holy cow. Randall Kennedy, what's going on, my friend? How are you? San Francisco. What's up, Adam Condon? How are you, my friend? Damian Bloodstone. Tommy Kakalina, how are you guys? Hey, Margie. Sonia, how are you? Zilla 92. MJ Bates. What's up, Girth? Girth Brooks. Donna Harmon, how are you? Nicholas Carroll. Good evening, my friend. Sonic Fox. Alex. Jeremy Egan. Hello. Frank Morris, what's going on, my friend? Cossack Runner. Tyler, what's going on, buddy? Kimberly Bailey. What's up, No Merc? How are you, buddy? Motorboat. Randy Man. Boondock, what's going on? I'm doing well. I'm doing well now that the live stream has started. DC, I do see you. I do see you, DC. How are you? I said hi to you before, too, when you popped in first. Tyler Steven, how are you? Robin, how are you tonight? Did test a ham radio test, tech and pass. Nice, Nicholas Carroll. That's awesome. That is awesome. What's up, Baker Jim? That is amazing, bro. I'm so glad for you, Nicholas Carroll. What's up, JT? For the beautiful, funky horn music. Well, I'll tell you what. I got a stack of encounters tonight. I've got some lot lizard experiences, and I do have the sexy Hebrew horn. The sexy Hebrew horn, baby. I'm the Kenny G of cryptozoology. Bizarre and Unknown, how are you? What's going on, brother? How are you, buddy? So, Pups, who is in our live stream, every live stream. If I could get some prayers tonight, my dad, aortic dissection. Oh, geez. I was going to send out some prayers to Pups tonight, too. Please, let's get some Dogman prayer in for Rockin' Steady's dad and Pups. Pups is going through some major health issues as well. Wow, Rockin', your dad is in my prayers especially too. What's up, Robert? JJ, you made my Saturday night special just by being here, buddy. Trust me. What's up, Cadence Kelly? You ever bite your tongue so hard that you get like 6 bumps right on the front of it? I was eating something, I forgot what it was. And then I just crunched and I'm like, oh my Lord. And like instantly, little bumps. And now I can't stop playing with them. I'm like, I'm biting them. Fucking weirdo. Dodgers kicked the shit out of the Yankees, I believe, still. Let's check. Just that'll make this live stream all the more better. Yes. 4-2. Use salt water. Yeah, I use salt water. I like Listerine. I fucking love Listerine. I don't know why. I keep it in my mouth till it burns. I don't know. I'm a weird fucking kid like that. Kid, guy, man, adult. I'm not a kid. Wish I was. What's up, Joseph Cannon? How are you, buddy? Steve, outdoors. How are you? I don't think there'll be any power outages on the election day. I put a $100 bill on it. I think people are going to be disturbed either way it goes, to be honest with you. The way I look at it is I'm going to vote my own way, and it's about all I can do. Yeah, in other states, you guys can vote. I can't vote until the 5th. In New York, you can't vote until the 5th. Huh. I think Tigger's sick. Tigger's laying right here next to me. I'm not going to pick him up because he's been acting really weird for the last couple of days. I don't know what's going on. I don't believe so. Not in upstate. There's no other place to vote except where I go. I have not gotten any kind of notification in the mail or email or anything like that. You know, the way I look at it is the American experiment is great. It is amazing. But the one thing that stinks about it is that we could have an amazing person that, does amazing things for 4 years, gets reelected for another 4, and then some bozo come in and destroy everything that's happened for those last 8 years. I guess that's what makes us so amazing. But, it does bother me a little bit that, people get so fucking uptight and so mean about, who we're voting for. And, it's the facts that our country, we should care about what is best for our country, not who voted for who. And, I would just love to see a period of time where America is fucking amazing. Like we're not like the welfare line for other countries, and we are not fucking the security guard for other countries. We have so much bullshit going on in our own country that we need to just maintain and fix our shit for once. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. What's up going on, Patriot? How are you? Mert, what's going on? Lot lizards vote by the glory hole. They are glory hole voters. That's what I heard. What's going on, Ford sucks? But, that's all my own opinion. My own opinion is We just need to fucking clean up our own backyard. That's about it. Stay out of everybody else's bullshit. You know, we have two oceans that separate us from everybody else's bullshit. We have Canada above us and South America below us. We're pretty fucking safe, you know? Like, if we just fucking cleaned up our country for a couple of years, we'd be pretty good. Then we could go boss people around. Mick Vice. I almost thought your name was Miami Vice. I was going to say, that's awesome. I fucking miss Miami Vice. All right. We'll start this off with a Dogman experience. I'm from Romania, and I don't know if anyone will read this. My English is not that good, but I do hope someone will read this. What happened to me so many years ago. This is my experience. I was in the Army. The year was 2003, at the end of September. Me and another soldier were guarding a big deserted hangar. We were supposed to make 4 hours each guarding, that is. When one of us was guarding for 4 hours, the other was sleeping. My colleague was on duty. I was asleep. Suddenly, I woke up like I had a bad dream. I was sweating. When I looked at my colleague, he was fast asleep and snoring. The time was around 2 in the morning. At 4 a.m., I was supposed to start my shift anyway. I started to try and remember what I was dreaming. Why did I wake up so confused and sweating? Then I heard some noise outside. I rushed to see what was happening without thinking to wake up the other soldier. I looked around, and at a distance of 30 meters, there was this pack of dogs, which they were from our company, who were barking at something behind this small hill. So I rushed in that direction to see what was going on, but when I got close, I heard a growl, and all the dogs, 7 in total, freaked out and ran away. I stopped walking towards them and wondered about what that could have been. At one moment, I was thinking that I was still dreaming when 2 of the dogs came near me. It was what can only be called the alpha of male and female dog pack. Their look was like they indeed needed help. Honestly, I was thinking of going back to the other soldier and telling him what happened, but instinct told me that I needed to find out what was going on and what this thing was. So I start walking with these 2 dogs when suddenly I saw them about 10 meters in front of me. There was this black mass, like a semicircle, 2 meters long and 1 meter high. I stood there baffled for a few moments. Then I talked. My mind was going crazy at this point with the dogs and said, "Go, let's see what's over there." And she, the female dog, like it had understood what I was saying, went to the shadow and started barking very closely. After a few seconds, the mass rose up, and the female dog ran away as fast as she could, although it had not touched her. Now this shadow was standing 4 feet, like a dog, not a human. It turned around and hopped over some brush in 2 seconds. It was massive. It looked like a giant hyena, long front legs and short behind legs, with a small tail end. The head was so similar to a hyena, it was all black. After some time, when I just stood there wondering what I had seen, I came to my senses and went back to the other soldier. I told him what I had seen. He did not believe me, but agreed to come with me and search for the thing. We searched together, this time with all of the dogs present, but did not find a thing. Before we went, we called the headquarters to inform them of what was happening and what I saw. The response was it was just a boar and I needed to leave it be. After that, me and the other soldier went back to our post. He went back to sleep, but I could not forget that figure. So I went outside again, although all of my instincts said not to do this. Again, all of the dogs were nowhere to be found, just the alpha male. He was worried, but he had confidence in me, so he tagged along. We walked about 100 meters away from our post. I was kicking some rocks, and he would bring them back. Everything was normal. That black mass was nowhere to be seen. Maybe it was just my imagination, I started to think. At one point, I picked up a rock and threw it as far as I could so the male dog would search for it. And I wanted to go back to my post, but then it happened. When I turned back, that thing was there behind us, less than 5 meters away. Now I could see it more clearly. Although it was still a black mass, it was about my height, 1.7 meters, with long ears like a donkey. That was the first thing that I had noticed. More massive than a dog or a boar, that's for sure. The body, as seen in the dark from the front, looks like a horse. Other than that, I could not see any characteristics. No teeth, eyes. I was in a trance trying to communicate with that thing. It was unreal what was happening, and I just said to myself, it's got to be my imagination. The male dog came up to me. He just stood beside me looking at this thing like he didn't know what was going on or what needed to be. Then I didn't know what came over me, but I shouted as strongly as I could, and this creature vanished. Randall Kennedy, thank you for the love, my friend. Thank you. What's up, No Cap? Bigfoot reports and data. What's going on? Orphan, how are you? All right, sounds good, buddy. No Cap bussin'. What's going on, brother? Nicola, how are you, my friend? Alicia, how are you? Tattoo Patriot, how are you, my friend? Neck, what's going on? Neck, did I respond to your text the other day? I fucking swear to God I did. I thought I did. If I didn't, I apologize. I literally thought I did. my like brain has just like I don't know. I'm having like mental issues lately. How are you? Okay, I did. All right, thanks, Nick. I thought about it today. I was like, dude, did I? Hickster, do you prefer cats over dogs? If so, any reason? I like dogs, but I have a Maine Coon cat that I absolutely love. He's been my friend and he's been my best friend for 9 years. So yeah, cats. Plus, they're more intelligent, I feel. They're very independent. Except for the last couple of days, he's been kind of an asshole, like right up my ass. Just nothing's really wrong with him. He just hasn't left my side for the last couple of days, which is awesome, you know, because he's sleeping right here. I'm not even going to bother him. He's just out like a light, just probably farting little kitty farts everywhere. Jeff, you hear about the recent Kentucky story killing a horse? Yes, I did. I did. Yep. I thought there was a Great Pyrenees involved in that, no cap. Lycan Claw, thank you. How are you? Hospital? Nah, I didn't. Nope, no hospital. But how are you doing, Jane? I hope you're doing well. What's up? Cowboy Five Rigs. Yeah, we crushed the Yankees, baby. You know it. I was waiting for you to pop in. She rock and rolls. I don't know if he's sick. He does not acting sick. He's just being like, I don't know. I think maybe it's because I didn't let him downstairs. Like he likes to be downstairs because I don't know. There's no one down there except when I'm down there working. And he can be alone, but I'm not really sure. But he's sleeping like a light right now. Corey, I've done plenty of live testimonies. Actually, I've done a shitload of interviews that are like direct from the people. So where's Aramic? I didn't see Aramic pop in. What's up, Aramic? No, you're good. You're good. You probably just haven't caught them. They're on. Yeah, no, they're on my show. Aramic, did you see the video that I made thanking you for the awesome paintings that you sent me? I want to thank you. I love them. They're downstairs in my studio downstairs. Dude, I literally brought them. I love them so much. I brought them to my dad and showed my dad. My dad loved them. So I truly appreciate you. Remember the one place was Dogman regarding the big ball installation? Yes, I do. Yes. Speaking of that, did you guys see this? Did you guys hear this? Oh man, I saved this right for tonight's live stream. I was gonna make a video about it, but I didn't because I wanted to share it with you guys first. So, all right. This is amazing. All right. Zoo asks for help identifying mysterious winged and horned creature spotted near park habitat. Trail cameras at the Bristol Zoo Project in England captured footage of an animal that has baffled experts, according to the park. There's a picture of it. It looks like a fucking deer, but it's got wings on its back and it's got horns. And this is not from like fucking the Daily Observer with Batboy. The Bristol Zoo Project has a mystery for you. On October 22nd, the Wildlife Conservation Park in England posted on Facebook that it wanted help with an animal identification. According to the post, the Bristol Zoo Project's trail cams recorded a mysterious winged horned creature lurking near the facility's animal habitats. The identity of this critter has animal experts stumped, per the post. So the Bristol Zoo Project shared the photo of this mysterious animal. In the photo, the creature included in the Facebook post, it appears to have at least 1 to 2 horns coming out of its cow-like head and also seems to be doubting wings. Our conservation team uses camera traps to survey the ancient woodland on our site. Here you can see a familiar deer along with the creature that had us stumped, the park wrote in the post, which also included the photo of the deer in the daylight so viewers could compare the deer with this mysterious animal. So literally, I saw it and I was like, that looks like the Jersey Devil, like the depictions of the Jersey Devil. I was like, holy cow. Yes, no, not the National Enquirer. It's actually in people.com. So peoplemagazine.com covered the story. But the Bristol Zoo conservation, Aramic, if you look it up, so my best bet, if you want to see later, type in Bristol Zoo Project mysterious animal. That'd be, but I'm like, holy shit. It's like, the Aramic, yes, very similar to Gone International. Well, I don't think if it's Gone International, I think maybe, I don't know, there's more of them. I don't think that it's I don't know. I know that Paul Pedersen Jr., the guy who I had on my show a year, 2 years ago, who has researched the Jersey Devil for a long time, truly believes that, some of the sightings are misidentification for Dogman, and there's something that has wings. So I don't know. It blew me away. Aramic, this one goes out to you, my friend. This one goes out to Aramic. A 6-foot-tall bat-winged humanoid. I was out with my boyfriend on our nightly walk around a walking trail at the Redmond Reserve We live in an apartment complex directly across the street from our park and do our nightly walks around this walking trail to get our exercise. Anyway, we were on our second time around and are approaching this wooden bridge at the top of our path when we spotted what we thought was a large bird landing by the trees on the other side of the bridge. I told my boyfriend about what I had seen, and he told me that it might be geese we had seen earlier when we got home from work. Seeing geese was not unusual, as we see and hear them all the time during the spring and summer months. As we continue to walk, we are engrossed in a conversation. As we walked over the bridge, we heard a very loud screeching sound, like a large owl would make, only much louder. We then saw the same large creature take off, only this time this creature was had much larger wings and arms and legs that looked more like a person than a bird. From where we stood, it looked to be about 6 feet tall, much taller than a goose, and it had large black bat-like wings. It took off and headed over the reservoir and headed towards and over the apartment complex and out of sight. The lady that screamed had booked it and was running toward her car, and we stood there trying to see if we could find it again before we continued walking towards home. It took off and flew much, much faster than I had ever seen any bird fly. It covered the distance from the parking lot across the reservoir and park and over the building in a matter of seconds. I have never seen another creature fly that fast. It was very spooky to see this thing and at the same time fascinating. Oh, Orphan Andy, thank you so much. I learned so much from you guys, believe me. You guys send me emails. I receive so many emails from you guys all the time, and I just learn so much stuff from you guys. So thank you. I think RH is with us. What's up, Poppy from Sweden? I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I wasn't picking on your name, Poppy. I was picking on that really fucking creepy, weird, hot girl. I'm Poppy. She's kind of hot. Nope. Mini colas, mini Coca-Colas. They didn't have big cherry cola cans at the store, so I got the little fuckers. What's up, Sumner? How are you, buddy? Well, a thunderbird resembles a bird, but this thing was more like the Mothman. And Aramik is the biggest believer in the Mothman. I heard his tattoo was going to be Mothman on his chest. He was going to have the legs down here, the wings, with this moth-like head. No, outside in, you did not. You did not. I agree, Mr. Anderson. I agree. The Thunderbird reminds me more like a dragon or dinosaur than any kind of bird. Alligator Horse, how are you? I apologize for not saying hi if I missed you. 67 as the attacking creature. I think I saw that article. Aramik got caught at the truck stop with a Mothman reptilian creature. Is 59th here? I haven't seen him. MF, you've noticed that as well, huh? I literally said that to my daughter Isabel. I was like, when last month when I shot up to 90,000. What's up, Death Note? I was like, watch, it'll hit 90,000 and just fucking peter off right there. It'll take me 6 years to hit 100,000. Tigger's snoring up a storm right now. There's another Mothman. I printed out a couple Mothman experiences for Aramik, just special, because of those paintings that he sent me. Man, I really loved those paintings. So amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, this is a good one. This is really cool. I really enjoyed this. So I hope you guys like this one. And then after I read this experience, I'm going to do DB Mac's favorite thing. I'm going to play the Hebrew horn. All right, this one's a bit unusual for, I don't know, I've heard maybe one or two experiences similar to it, but we're talking like in the 30 years that I've been looking at experiences and stuff. So, all right. I live in Oklahoma, but I am originally from San Diego. My first UFO encounter was in 1976. We, my dad, mom, and I moved from San Diego to Spring Valley. My mother worked nights as a nurse for Mercy Hospital downtown from 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. One night, after we dropped my mom off at work, we did our usual nighttime routine, stopped at Taco Bell. On the way home going east, I spotted an object outside of my window facing south. It appeared to be a white orb-like object just above the hills, following us on a horizontal course. I pointed it out to my dad, who at first thought I was joking or making up something. When he saw it, he became afraid. Know a little bit about my dad. He's about 6'8" and is the toughest guy I know. I never saw him afraid of anything. We continued on home, both of us looking at this object, which climbed out of our view into the sky. We quickly went home and rushed into the house, my dad leading the way by unlocking the door. We set our food on the railing, and I closed the door when the doorbell rang. I thought it was one of my dad's buddies who occasionally stops by after we took mom to work. I quickly opened the door over the protest of my dad and saw a being standing in front of our door and a white glowing disc-like craft over our street. This being had the head of a male lion and wore a black robe. The strange thing was that the objects on this robe seemed to be moving like little galaxies. The spiral galaxies seemed to swirl. Then this lion head creature roared, and my dad and I fell backwards to the floor, and everything went black. My mom found us the next day in the hallway with the front door open and me and my dad asleep on the floor. She woke us up yelling what we were doing and why I wasn't at school. I tried to explain what we saw that night, but my dad told me to be quiet. Not being a child of the 70s, I knew not to disobey my dad and attempted to tell my mom later after school while my dad was at work. I will give my mom credit. She listened, but I don't think she believed me. Then in 1985, I was 15 and living in El Reno, Oklahoma. A bunch of my friends and I were leaving our other friend's house, and by a bunch, I mean 15 to 18 guys. It was around 8 p.m. At night, we were all going to Booker T. Washington Gym to play some basketball when an object fell out of the sky from the south heading to the north. The object was making this buzzing noise, almost like a helicopter, but much louder. We all looked up and saw a large ball of light, about 20 feet in diameter, falling from the sky. It smelled like sulfur and was changing color from yellow, white, green, blue, then red, then back to white. It looked like it was landing or crashing at the neighborhood park about 10 blocks away. One of the guys looked at me and suggested we all go see what it was. The reason why he looked at me was that I was into science, and jokingly, they called me the professor. I got a sudden feeling of dread thinking about investigating the object and said no. Everyone shrugged, and we went to play basketball. My biggest encounter was in 1991. I was in Oklahoma National Guard. My dad and I'm a new dad, and the first Iraq war was on, and I was waiting to get deployed. I brought the new year in with my child and girlfriend, and since they stayed at her mom's house, I had to leave. It was between 1 to 1:30 a.m. I was walking across the band field toward home when I saw an object in the northwest. It looked like a star with a trailing stream from it, white objects falling toward the ground. At first, I thought it was the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. But then I remembered he comes from the east. So my next thought was Russians launched a missile, and it was it. Tinker Air Force Base was 25 miles from El Reno. Stuck with indecision about whether I should warn my mom and little brother or girlfriend and child, I stood there watching. The object was coming closer, still with a tail, and with objects falling to the ground. Then little beams of light shot out into the front, so I thought it was a plane. I felt sorry for the plane's people and thought maybe it was a 747. I had never seen a plane crash, and I continued to watch. Then the strangest thing happened. Headlights started sweeping the ground. I thought, well, they're looking for a place to ditch. Then it occurred to me, when did 747s have searchlights? One beam of light went to the north and the other to the south, and then they both came together on me standing in the middle of the field, and then it went out. It was right in front of me when my sight came back. A UFO disc shape with the back end blown off. Debris was falling off the back towards the ground, but when it reached the ground, it just evaporated. The UFO was trailing smoke, and it had a row of windows on the side. The lights inside this UFO were like emergency red, and I saw silhouettes of beings running back and forth. Then one stopped and looked down at me. I thought to myself, here's my chance to make contact with something from another planet. I had a mini flashlight on my keychain, and I flashed it for a couple of times with no response. So I waved with my right arm, and it copied me. Then with both arms, and it copied me. I heard a vehicle stop on the street behind me, and a man and I was deeply concerned about its well-being. We stood there looking at each other for what felt like hours when another figure who was running past stopped and looked down at me, grabbed the other creature, and went to the undamaged part of the crash. 6 balls of light, then a 7th shot toward the southwest, all changing colors: white, yellow, green, blue, red, black, and then back to white. I ran home, woke up my mom, frantically telling her what I saw. Then, to a party where I knew a friend of mine was at, I told him, and he thought I was full of shit, but I convinced him to go to his house and watch the news. We were watching Channel 4 News when an anchor woman, Boozy Brown Washington, came on and said, if you saw an object in the sky, it was, and then she was cut off. All my friend could do was look at me with his mouth open. We stayed up until 5 a.m. waiting for her to come back and finish the news. I'm 52 years old now, and I've only told a handful of people that I felt like I could trust with this. Thank you for allowing me to share this. Craigers, thank you for the gift, my friend. I truly appreciate that, Craigers. I didn't want to stop in the middle of reading that, but I do appreciate you, Craigers. Oh, fuck. What's up, E-Rev? How are you? Oh, thank you, Craigers57. I appreciate you. You know I do. I appreciate everybody. Fucking legs. It's all right, buddy. My buddy's going to get scared in a minute. I kind of feel bad doing this. Cop is right down there tonight, too. He's right that way. Because he knows $20 is $20. Oh. Bye, buddy. Tigger just bolted. Here, buddy. Here, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. He did not like that. Yes, MJ Richards. The cops always park. He always parks there every Saturday. And no police officer lives down my street. I am the master of the Hebrew horn. The master of the Hebrew horn. Tigger was pissed, 5 rings. He's like, dude, like, he's been laying there so long, my foot is warm just from putting my foot there. He just bolted, New England. When he comes back in, I will. Hey, Amber, how are you? Sonny the Wandering Gypsy. No, I think Hebrew horn sounds better, Andy Davis. Because HH, you know what I mean? Girth ordered an Aztec death whistle. I will not blow the Aztec death whistle in the house with Tigger. My cat will stroke out. He'll be like, what the fuck, dude? I love you. What's up, Daryl? How are you, buddy? This is about the only one I'm still cool with in these topics. Something about the dude, even though I don't agree with everything, but still. You know, Erev, that's awesome. Amber, thank you for the love, dear. I appreciate you. Erev, that's you know, you don't have to agree with everything I say. Because, you know, I'm not saying it, I'm really not saying it for you to agree with. I'm just sharing my experiences, other people's experiences, my theories, in hopes that you guys can share your theories and shit with me. You know, I am no expert. I've never met an expert in this field. It's a pseudoscience, so no one can be an expert. And if anyone says, hey, I'm an expert, you can tell them to fuck themselves because they are not, you know. I think that I learn more from you guys on a daily basis, like your emails and such. So, you know, Erev, I got you, buddy. Zilla. I've got an amazing. I got a really creepy kind of black-eyed kid experience that I want to share. Aramic, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. You guys are really awesome. You guys, I feel so bad. Like, thank you. I really appreciate you. All right. This encounter happened to me about 12 years ago. I was around 24 years old at the time. I worked hospitality, so it'd be a little later at night when my friends and I hung out. At around 9 o'clock, my friend and I decided to go for a drive someplace we had never been to. We just got in the car and go. I offered and wanted to drive because my mom was out of town and I was using her Benz. It was one of those early 90 E-bodies, the ones that were big piles of heavy metal. A real tank of a car. I only mention the car body because it becomes relevant later in the story. Why did my brain just shut down right there? He happily agreed, and we hit the road. We lived near Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time. We drive north out of the city, and for about an hour, when I see an exit I don't recognize and decide to get off there. There was nothing at this exit other than cornfields, not a gas station, restaurant signs, nothing. No visible light of a town in any direction. So we are in a place we do not recognize, but at that point, just driving to get nowhere. Because the speed limit was 35, we're in no rush. The moon was bright enough that everything seemed pretty visible. About a mile into the cornfields, we could see two kids on the right side of the road. We comment on how weird it was because there are no housing or stores, not even lights on the horizon. Plus, it was 10:30ish. We are two larger guys, so we don't worry about that. I slow down so I can inquire if their car broke down. Robin N., thank you so much, dear. I slow down so we can inquire if their car broke down or if they need our help. As we pulled up, I noticed the clothing on the kid in front. It was a stained cream-colored tweed-type shirt with real tattered sleeves and overalls with only one strap. He appeared to be maybe 12. The second kid was taller, wearing a red flannel-type shirt with an old-time-looking khaki pants. However, I could barely notice the taller kid standing behind the smaller one because as I pulled up while noticing the clothes, I got to see the whole child fully, and his arms were at his side, slightly raised, almost in the iconic zombie way. But his eyes, I couldn't take my eyes off of his, and I did my best to mutter to my friend, "You're seeing this, right?" His eyes were pitch black, blacker than the night, but easy to see as they stood out, staring at us. I did not know what the heck I was looking at, but I'd never been so frightened in my life. And I've had several odd experiences that left me unable to deny that there is more to this world than what we can understand. So we are stopped for a moment, locking eyes with whatever this thing is. It was no child. It was definitely evil. There is zero doubt about that. We quickly agreed to go and fast. We are not going to inquire with them. This was straight out of the Twilight Zone, and I remember a hitchhiker, and that was not happening tonight. No, sir. So we go, and we clamor between ourselves. What the F was that? Did you see that? What the hell was that? Still no signs of homes, just open fields. How could these two kids be there? I don't know, but I don't believe they were kids. We keep driving, and we get out of the fields into a wooded, windy road shortly after, around 5 minutes. Here in Wisconsin, there are random historical markers displaying information, whatever year that happened. I only mention that because I passed one on the curve, so I glanced at it. As I'm driving through the curve going 45, a creature walks in front of my car. As I saw it, it was nothing like I had ever seen before. Its spine was tall. It stuck above the hood or ornament as I hit it. It was a gray color and looked like nothing I had ever seen before. It had a very tall arch in its spine, almost like when a cat hisses and goes on its toes. That kind of shape, but in a very tall, gangly creature. I hit the thing straight on with the tank of a Benz. My friend is freaking out at this point, as am I, and I say, "Least." I stop immediately, but now we are both scared of the children of the corn and now this creature, literally within minutes. We decide getting out is not going to happen, but I decide to stay in the locked car, but use the car and its lights to see what we hit and make sure whatever the hell it is dead. And I needed to know what it was that I saw. I drive in tiny little circles back up forward looking for the creature, but after checking every inch within 100 yards and not seeing anything, including a drop of blood where I hit it, straight on the Benz making contact with its spine, body, and head anywhere. That was unnerving, and although I wanted to check on my mom's car, that would be dealt with further down the road. We were not getting out here, so we decided to head home at this point. 15 minutes later, I get back onto the freeway, and I needed to get out and see how bad my mom's car was. As I got out to check quickly, as I was not taking chances tonight, I noticed the grill was busted in, but nothing too bad, so I made sure to secure it and got in as quickly as possible. My friend decided to stay in the car. Recently, I had heard of black-eyed kids and freaked out a little bit. I did not know they were a real thing. I thought it was just a couple of demonic kids or some damn ghost, or I don't know what to think. To this day, I have looked through tons of photos of supposed cryptid beasts and mythological creatures looking for what it was that I hit. The closest I have come to is some Algonquin drawings of a Wendigo, and they were pretty close to what I believe I had saw and hit that night. I would like to point out that I've lived in Wisconsin a long time, and it was no deer or coyote or anything else. What I hit was nothing native to the Wisconsin landscape, and neither were those damn kids. I will never forget that night. Yeah, so when he described that when I read that at first, I was like, ooh. And I instantly thought of the painting that is in Hogansburg or the Aquasachie Reservation, just north of me. And it depicts the Wendigo as a emaciated human type creature, a very large kind of white-like creature with fur and stuff, and then this wisp of cold wind. What's up, Mighty Thor? Blessings to you, my friend. Blessings to you. I think the beast of the seven shoots, in my own opinion, Colorado Sarge, thank you so much. Wonder if you have run into any experiences from Canyon City, Colorado. Saw some weird stuff growing up. Might reach out and share. I would love for you too, Colorado. Not Canyon City. Some other places in Colorado. I have a whole folder. I have there's a filing cabinet that you can't see off to the side here that since I started this channel, I've collected state by state encounters sent to me from different subscribers. And I have a folder full of Colorado experiences. You're 2 hours from Hogansburg? I'm about 2 hours from Hogansburg. Where are you, D? I'm in Lake George. So you're either towards Buffalo or toward me. No, he was poisoned. Upstate Plattsburgh. Nice. Aramic doesn't know where Hogansburg is. It's in it's the Canada New York State line. Yeah, he passed away like 10 months ago, Erev. He was poisoned. Hogansburg it's right in Cornwall. Cornwall, Canada separates Hogansburg. Well, if you are, my cousin lives in Hogansburg. Well, he did. He lives in the city. My other cousins do. But they have dual citizenship. Anyone that lives in Hogansburg has dual citizenship. So Cornwall. So if you go from Messina, New York to Hogansburg to Cornwall, Canada, and it's like right there. I was trapped there in 1991 when the federal government shut them down. They shut the whole because of smuggling of alcohol and tobacco. Like literally Apache helicopters were flying over. It was fucking crazy. A week's drive. No, Sovereign. He was a fixture on my channel. He was a good friend of mine, and he came to my channel and shared a whole bunch of stuff. He wasn't supposed to share what he shared, but he came and fell in love with you guys. Me and him became really good friends, and he shared far too much that he was supposed to. So me and his son kind of knew that he got poisoned when his kidneys shut down and he was in the hospital, and they had 2 Marine guarding him or standing outside of his door, which was weird. What's up, Jeb? How are you, buddy? Thanks for joining us. Clint, what's going on? How are you? So did everyone have a good week? Everyone's week was good? Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Ugh. Fucking old nut. I didn't have a bad week. Stacked some firewood. What's up, Lion Lobo? Was sick as a dog, man. Mine was kind of, I don't know, stressful, I guess. Papa Bear. I know, 59th. I never take a day off from this channel. I love it. We're supposed to have some good weather next week, so I'm hoping to go kayaking a little bit. Hot tea for Jeff Walden's books. Yeah, you know it. At Starbucks to get my coffee and come back home. Why is everyone congratulating Kathy? What did happen to Kathy? What happened? Arabic, thank you so much, brother. God, man, Arabic, you're fucking killing me. I love you. I love you. Kathy learned a lot from it. What did I miss that Kathy? Why is everybody congratulating Kathy? I turned 54 in an hour. Holy shit, Puma Pete. You're going to be here with your birthday? That's awesome. Yeah, kayaking is my favorite thing to do. Found out. Oh, you found out you're a grandma. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now your children can go through what you went through. I cannot wait until I'm old enough to have grandkids and they're my kids' age, so I can fucking laugh and be like, haha, you remember fucking when? Congratulations, Kathy. That is amazing. Arabic, 1 more hour. Actually, 1 hour and 30 seconds. 1 hour and 30 seconds. Aramic's going to be 54. 54! You know, I God damn it. I pray that my kids never have kids like them. because I don't want my kids to have to go through the bullshit that they put me through. Like, I want to RKO my youngest child. Like, just, I would love to just fucking beat her senselessly. Wait, Aramic's birthday? It's not Aramic's birthday, is it? How did I miss that? No, it's Puma Pete's birthday. Did Aramic say? No, it's not Aramic's birthday. Hi, Strangeness did a Black Eyed Kids just a little while ago. Puma Pete's birthday. You're fucking aging Aramic faster than he needs to be aged, Jane. What is going on? God damn it, Jane. God damn it. Where the fuck is Wilburn? Wilburn! What's up, Shannon Brown? How are you, buddy? In 59 minutes, I'm going to play Happy Birthday to Puma Pete. I'm from Roswell, New Mexico, born and raised. I grew up dealing with bullshit alien nonsense my entire life. I already don't like this guy. I'm a very logical thinker. Yep, don't like him. And have had many strange things happen to me in the past, but have always dealt with them that this can be logically explained mindset since I can remember. But what I'm about to share with you is something I cannot explain. And it is also something I am hesitant to even think about anymore. I was camping with my cousin, 17 at the time, the same age I was, his little brother, who was 13, and my aunt and uncle. We were near Cloudcroft, New Mexico, up in the mountains, Lincoln National Forest. My uncle had just bought a new camper, and we decided to go camping with it for the weekend. The weather was beautiful. Me and my cousins decided to bring a tent to sleep in instead of the camper so we could be in peace. We set up our tent 60 yards away from the camper, and the fire was right outside of it. Toward the end of the first night, and after a long day of exploring, we all decided to lay down for the night. We were not camping on an actual campsite. It was a spot my uncle found some years back, and it was a perfect spot for a camp. At about 3 a.m, the fire was completely out. My cousins and I are still awake. My youngest was trying to stay up and be cool with us, but ended up falling asleep. It was only my oldest and me. We're shooting the shit, talking about hot chicks from school, brilliant ideas for things that needed to be invented, and eventually slowly started to fall asleep too. When all of a sudden we hear this blood-curdling scream from the distance. Probably the same distance away the camper was, only in the opposite direction. Me and my oldest cousin look at each other and pick our heads up off the pillow simultaneously. What was that? It was not a bear. It was not a fox. It was big. The closest way I know how to describe it is a mixture between a banshee and a rabid peacock. Its voice was deep and echoed through the deep woods. It let out another blood-curdling shriek. And we both sat upright with our blown-up mattress on our blown-up mattresses. Immediately after the screech, it started to click. An odd, deep clicking sound coming from the back of its throat, and it was loud enough to hear from the distance. We were scared, and neither of us had any idea of what it could be. We waited a second, both quiet as a mouse. It let out another scream, followed by a series of clicks, but it seemed to be closer now, maybe 10 yards closer. I looked at my cousin, and he looked like I was in shock. I was trying to convince myself that it was a bird of some sort or a mountain cat. Then we heard it walking. It was walking bipedal, and we could hear it distinctly. It even sounded big, taking large strides, crackling branches and leaves under its feet as it moved. It sounded like it was coming close to us. It screeched and clicked loudly again. I could tell it was maybe 30 yards from us now. Suddenly, another scream and click came from the other direction, sounding just as close as the other creature. It sounded more aggressive, more angry and dominant. The first creature then let off a series of clicks as well. Then it hit me. They're communicating. At this point, I'm terrified, and so is my other cousin. I had a hatchet under my blown up mattress, but I was too afraid to get up and grab it. Then both of the creatures start to walk towards us, both on two legs, not screaming or clicking, but it sounded like they were trying to sneak up onto our tent. They were getting closer and closer. The first one screamed loudly. I could tell it was roughly 15 yards away now, and so was the other one. After screaming, it clicked again, and the other one clicked back. They are both walking closer to the tent. I could hear them both stepping on limbs and leaves, but I could feel the ground thud each step they took, and I was panicking, frantically starting to look for my hatchet as my cousin is frantically waking up his little brother. I couldn't find my hatchet anywhere, and I realized I left it out by the campfire because we were using it to cut pieces of firewood. My little cousin is not waking up, and they're getting closer to us. Eventually, we freeze. The second one had stopped 10 feet away from the tent, but the first one was still walking right up to it. As soon as it was right outside the tent, I yelled as loud as I could out of pure fear, "Get the fuck away from here! Leave us alone!" It stopped. It was right outside. I could almost see it through the tent. It was huge, tall enough to lean over and look through the top of the tent if it wanted to. You could tell that it was slim, humanoid, but heavy. I could feel its energy. It was negative. I felt the vibes of the universe, and they were telling me that whatever these things were, they were not here to say hi or steal any hot dogs from us. I was frozen. They were right outside. The moon was covered by clouds, so the moonlight was no longer shining. I couldn't hear them breathing. It was silent. The second one clicked from behind us, still 10 feet away. The first one didn't move. It didn't make a single sound, and it was probably a foot away from our tent. My heart is beating so hard I thought I was going to pass out, when all of a sudden it took 2 large steps back, and the second one let out a scream that hurt my ears. I immediately burst into tears. The second creature took off into the woods, pounding the ground underneath it, running on its 2 legs. The first one apparently turned around and walked away back into the woods the other way. I waited until I completely heard the footsteps disappear until I unzipped the tent. I threw little Nick over my shoulder and we booked it toward the camper. We got inside and woke up my aunt and uncle. They had no idea what was going on and urged us to take our asses back to bed. We slept in the camper the next few nights, and I didn't leave the campsite for the rest of the trip. I don't know what we encountered that night, but all I know is that it was not an animal. It was not a human. It was not a bear or a 4-legged animal. It has scared me ever since, and its energy and screams still haunt me to this day. I give you my word, this is real. I don't have any proof to back up my story. However, one thing I did find really strange was the fact that there is a huge rock at the end of the trail near our campsite that was absolutely covered in moss. The last day we were there, all of the moss on the rock was gone. I couldn't even recognize the rock until my little cousin said something about it. The rock looked like it had been licked or peeled clean. Not literally, but there wasn't a sign of moss that was growing on it in the first place. 2 days prior, the moss on it was thick and almost like a cushion. So I looked and I thought about Robert and his son, Junior, and how Junior saw crawlers in New Mexico. And I did like that measurement on the computer with the measurement thing on a map. And it was like about 50 to 60 miles away from where he saw his crawlers. So I think it was crawlers, most definitely. George, how are you? Hey, Stacy Lockett, how are you tonight? In a tent, you're a cryptid taco. Sambo, that's funny. You're fucked is what you are. You are. I love crullers. Yeah, crawlers are weird. I remember when I interviewed Laura Eisenhower, and we were talking about Dulce, and I said, I had brought up crawlers to her, and I'm like, what do you think crawlers are? And we were just talking, like I interviewed her, then we talked for a little bit after. And that's when I said, what do you think about crawlers? What do you think they are? I didn't want to like put her on the spot in the middle of the interview or anything. So she said, what do you mean? What are crawlers? And I'm like, well, they're like these humanoid creatures that resemble a gray alien, but they have been known to be violent towards people and other cryptids. I said, I have a belief that they are some sort of alien-like species, but they could be demonic as well. But are aliens demons? I mean, they travel interdimensionally, so who knows, right? Arabic, thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. Broke my hip in 5 places, all the way to my spine. They can't fix it for another 8 months. Randall Kennedy, when did you do that? Holy shite. Daniel, how are you? Thank you. I've asked on many channels. No one has. No one has what? No one has what? I don't know what that means. When my husband was a kid, he saw something all white, faceless, bent down, stand up. It was tall. It got taller. Has anyone seen something like it? Daniela, to me, it sounds possibly like a crawler. If it was white, I mean, I didn't see it, so I don't know. But to me, it almost sounds like a crawler. Jerry Burns. I don't know. I don't know why they're out there. I wish I could move my fucking whole computer so you guys could see them. Pale skin. It reminds me of a crawler. It got taller every time it stood up. It was faceless. It could have been hunched over and it just seemed to get taller. But once again, I wasn't there. To me, it sounds like a crawler. Faceless. It might have been dark. He might not have been able to see it because they do have like strange. There's been different descriptions of crawlers. You know what I mean? Like just like Dogman. Some have big snouts, some have small snouts, some have this, some have that. So that's how I think it is. Someone said something that I missed. Delirium, how are you? Aramic, you are that cool. You are that cool. New England Dirt Bike Roadie. No, they've been here before I even started yelling out the window, brother. A month ago. Damn, Randall Kennedy. I'm glad that you're still with us. He saw it crystal clear. Was it dark out? Because our minds play tricks on us sometimes, you know? So, what's up, Tiffany? I see things in my 10-year-old daughter. Sure. You got it. Josh, yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, I can't imagine Randall Kennedy breaking your hip. Like, son of a gun. I think like people have died. Like, there's like blood. Like, I think you can like die from that. Or people have died from it, I believe. That's pretty crazy, Tim Harsh. That'd be terrifying, absolutely. Imagine being 7 and trying to get ripped out of the bathroom. $43 minutes until Puma Pete turns 54. All right. Dogman experience. No, I've never heard of anything like that. I've never heard anything like that. Nope. My aunt's a lot lizard. Oh, it's lot lizard story time. It's lot lizard story time. Here we go, kids. All right. And it is, well, we got to do it right. We got to do it right. There's a skateboarder out there. $20 is $20. In the heart of the American Southwest, nestled between vast stretches of desert and towering mesas, stood a truck stop that was unlike any other. It was a place where the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural were blurred, where the mundane and the extraordinary collided in a dizzying dance of the unexpected. It was here, amidst the rumble of diesel engines and the hum of fluorescent lights, that a peculiar creature made its home, a reptilian being that defied all conventional notions of what a truck stop denizen should be. Her name was Slithera, and she was a sight to behold, with scales that shimmered in the harsh neon glow, the eyes that seemed to bore into the very soul of anyone who dared to meet her gaze. She was a figure of both fascination and trepidation. Her movements were fluid, almost serpentine. As she prowled the dimly lit corridors of the truck stop, her presence of constant source of intrigue and unease for the weary travelers who passed through. Storming Alaska, thank you for the love. But Slithera was no mere curiosity. She was a force to be reckoned with. Beneath her otherworldly exterior, she possessed a sharp wit and cunning intellect that belied her reptilian nature. She was a master of manipulation, using her alluring charm and her uncanny ability to read people to her advantage, drawing in unsuspecting victims with the promise of a good time, and then leaving them in a state of bewilderment and unease. It was a game she played with relish, a twisted dance of seduction and deception that kept the patrons of the truck stop on their toes. Some whispered that she was a succubus, a demon entity that fed on the desires and fears of her prey, while others believed her to be a shape-shifting creature from another realm, a being that slipped through the cracks of reality to wreak havoc on the unsuspecting truckers. But Slithera was no mere myth or legend. She was a living, breathing entity, a creature that defied all attempts of categorization or understanding. She was a product of the strange and unsettling world that existed at the fringes of the truck stop, a world where boundaries between the natural and supernatural were constantly in flux. As the night wore on and the traffic at the truck stop flowed, Slithera would emerge from the shadows. Her scales glinted in the dim light as she prowled the aisles. Her eyes scanned the crowd for her next target. Some would be drawn to her captivity, but her otherworldly allure, while others would recoil in fear. Their instincts warned them of the danger that lurked beneath her seductive facade. Those who succumbed to her charms found themselves in a world of unexpected delights and terrifying consequences. Slithera would lead them on a wild and unpredictable journey. Her laughter echoed through the corridors as she toyed with their desires and fears. Some would emerge from the encounter shaken but unharmed, while others would vanish without a trace, their fate a mystery that haunted the truck stop for years to come. Yet, despite the fear and the fascination that she inspired, Slithera remained a fixture of that truck stop, a creature that had carved out a niche for herself in this strange and unsettling world. She was a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that even in the most mundane of settings, the extraordinary could lurk just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered. And so, the truck stop continued to hum with activity, its patrons coming and going, their stories intertwining with the legend of Slithera, the reptilian creature who made this place her domain. For those who dared to venture into her world, the experience was one that would linger long after they had left, a testament to the power of the unknown and the allure of the lot lizard Slithera. Slithera. Yeah, the clocks don't change until 3 a.m. So I'll start it at midnight regular time. with the street name Chicory. I got one more for you, JJ. I got one more. Deborah, I know. I know. I got your email. I keep looking. I saw it. Oh, it was my dryer kicking on. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? No, they don't change tonight, do they? They change next week. When is daylight savings time?
In the United States of America, daylight savings time started on Sunday, March 10th, 2024.
Or November 3rd. Shit. Ugh. Yeah. Well, it's technically Sunday right now in where I am. We've been an hour. It's an hour into Sunday. Next week, ours changed tonight. Claire, oh, are you in the United Kingdom, Claire? I think you are. Yes, you are. It is, what is the temp right now? It's 42 where I live. It's 42 where I live. God damn. That was nothing gross. Dogman encounter. Dogman encounter. I'm a former Marine, and I had moved to Northeast Pennsylvania in 1972 after getting out of the forces. I worked as an officer and spent many hours in the woods for my job and also for recreational purposes such as hunting and hiking. On September of 2002, I was in the woods hiking when I heard loud crashing sounds, trees falling, and footfalls, which seemed to be following me. I was spooked and decided to head back. It was around 2 p.m. when I hit the railroad tracks, which led back to my vehicle. To my right, there was a meadow, and to my left, a forest. In the forest, some 20 feet away, I spot a strange creature, unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was standing upright, just like a human, apparently eating a fresh-killed deer, which was in its lap. Oh, sitting. The creature had the longest legs I had ever seen. I'm guessing this thing weighed 500 pounds. It was at least 7 feet tall. A skinny waist, thick upper body, though not really too muscular, but you could tell it was very strong. It was a solid black, clean, like it had gone through a car wash, with huge feet and hair that seemed to be hanging off its elbows. Its back was mostly hairless, maybe shedding, while the chest, stomach, and shoulders were hairy. Its head reminded me of a wolf. It had a medium-length snout with what seemed to be tiny ears on the top of its head. It also had a very long tongue and seemed to have a double row of teeth, not unlike a shark. When it stood up, I'd say this thing was at least 11 feet tall. It took me a little bit to realize in my mind what I saw. The strangest was yet to come. So, when I took 2 steps to my left, it turned its head and it heard me. It turned its head to the left, and this thing was a demon, and I'll tell you why. It seemed to have 2 laser beam red eyes that seemed to follow me as I moved. The beams only lasted a few seconds. As crazy as it sounds, I am certain of this. When the creature turned and looked at me, I sensed that it wanted to kill me. I was terrified and took off running, even though I had my magnum with me. I didn't think it would even stop this creature. I was so panicked, I tripped and fell, and I noticed that it did not seem to be following me. When I got to my truck, I left the area, and I never stepped foot in those woods again. Thinking back later, I believe this creature was truly a demon, which I will never be able to identify. It was stalking me. It had not caught the deer, but it must have just found it and found it for its dinner. I spoke to a friend of mine about this and discovered that other people had seen this thing in the same area. I got a friend of mine. He's got a recycling center about 1.5 miles down from my house. And he was picking up some gym equipment, but telling me his story. He said, my brother almost word for word, except for the head. He's seen one right in the same area and said that it seemed to have a smaller head. It kind of looked like a child, maybe a child, one of these creatures. Oh, wow, he said. It looked up and down the road and seemed to cross the road. So it didn't get run over. So this creature ran across the road. Thank you, Boom Squad. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi, Squatchin' Grandma. What's up, Battle? Martin, how are you? Yeah, exactly, Aramek. Exactly. I don't think it was a demon, though, because his buddy said, well, I mean, maybe what he saw was a demon, but what his buddy saw sounded like a juvenile Dogman. And it, like, because why would a demon look both ways? First, why would a Dogman look both ways? Maybe. Maybe it had good parents. Millenhawk main story. I think what me and Isabel caught at the Conjuring House was a demon. Now that I think about it, I was watching that video the other day, and when me and Belle were in the basement, I have a picture that I took of the basement right before we caught the crooked neck lady on our SLS camera, and so one picture of the basement going down the stairs is completely clear, and the other picture is all warped. I'll put it on the community post so you guys can see it tomorrow or tonight sometime. Black-eyed kid story. Oh, Aramek. You know what? This one's for you, baby. This one's for Aramek. This one's dedicated to Aramek. I'll start out by saying that the small town where I grew up and where all of my family still resides is in Monroe County, Ohio, maybe 20 minutes or so outside of Wheeling, West Virginia. Oh, shit. This is where Wheeling, West Virginia is where Jesse and his wife and son, where Jesse lost his son. I was talking to my dad on the phone the other night. He told me that last week while driving home from work, he came across something he couldn't explain. His voice was shaky, unlike I had ever heard him. He works a night shift at a local coal mine, and while driving home from work early one morning at 5:30 in the morning, he noticed a large creature crouched on the side of the road. It had bright red glowing eyes and looked directly at him. He said this creature also seemed to have very large wings, which was wrapped around it as it was crouched. He said he had never seen anything like it in his life, and it really upset him. He proceeded to drive by it, but when he looked behind him, it was gone. He said that he was actually scared to get out of his car when he got home, in fear that perhaps it had followed him. After a few very tense minutes, he slowly got out of the car and there was nothing. I asked him if he had ever heard of the Mothman, and he kind of paused. He said that he had never heard of anything of it until he started talking to people about what he had seen. He said that they would say straight right away, "It sounds like the Mothman." You hear weird stories all the time, and because you don't really know the person who witnessed it, you just shrug it off. Knowing my dad and what a logical thinker he is, I believe he encountered something supernatural. He is usually the one who tries to come up with logical answers for things that are otherwise unexplained. He is skeptical when it comes to aliens, UFOs, ghosts, and such. For me to talk to him and hear him tell me a story about Mothman was shocking, for this is not like my dad. I will say that I am concerned, for what I understand is that when a person sees this creature, the Mothman, bad things often happen afterward. There isn't a doubt in my mind that what he saw was 100% true. It has completely made a believer out of me when it comes to the Mothman, and Aramik too. I hope, for the sake of my dad and my family, that isn't true, and he made the mistake of the identity. Thanks for letting me share. Janie, good night, dear. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, 59th. Puma Pete, you're going to bed already? Fucking A, I got to do it early then. Hang on. Puma Pete, happy birthday early to you. Happy birthday to Puma Pete. Happy birthday, dear Puma Pete. Happy birthday to you. That was pretty fucking good. Puma Pete, happy birthday, baby. They call me Jeffy N. They're getting better. Happy birthday, Puma. Thank you for joining us tonight, too. Jeffy N., the Hebrew horn player. Charlotte, there is no cop. It's just the cop car. The cop car is always there. There's no cop in the car at all. So I can't, it'd be me talking to an empty car. The car is there like at the beginning of the day, and when I go to bed, it's there. And then when I get up and Sunday, it's gone. Not sure. Liz, how are you, Liz Sisney? I got some black-eyed kid stories for you. I was walking around Toronto by a subway station, not saying which one for privacy reasons, and I saw a boy looked to be about 14 or 15, wearing a navy blue hoodie and some bleached jeans. He seemed like a typical kid, but it was winter, and it was very windy and cool, so a hoodie and jeans don't cut it. I walked into the subway station, and he was going the same way I was, not suspicious because many people ride the subway. It only started getting sus when he seemed to keep burying his face into a book. It was a green covered book that had no title, almost like a school notebook. He got on the same subway car that I did, and the entire time kept his head in that book. The subway car was relatively empty, maybe 4 or 5 people. When I got off the subway, so did he, still not suspicious. The only strange thing is that he never let his head up from that book until we finally got out of the station. He closed his book and held it in his left arm. I walked to the store that I was going to, which was semi-close, but still a 7-minute walk. For about 3 more minutes, he followed me, eventually in an alleyway that was dark enough that I could not see faces. I was taking a shortcut. He lifted his pace. I was scared because we are now alone. I thought maybe he wanted to make friends, so I stopped walking, and so did he. And I said, yes. He only responded after about a minute of silence and said, "Can I go home with you?" I answered with, "Sorry, I'm not going home. I'm going to the store. And also, I don't live here. I'm really going to the store." He answered, "Can I go there with you?" I simply said, "Why? Are you hurt? Are you homeless?" All he said was, "No, I just want to go." Then he approached me, and I noticed once my eyes adjusted that his eyes were dark. I thought maybe it was the shadows. But I am a nervous teen with anxiety, so I thought, well, might as well confirm my superstition. I turned my phone on for a second so that the light from it would hit him in the face. He quickly covered his face with his hands, but in the time that it was exposed, I saw jet black eyes, and he backed away nervously. I bolted for the store, and he kept backing off. I took off my cross necklace. Thank God I was wearing it. I rarely do. Well, now you should. And I held it up in my hand as I ran. I prayed as I sprinted. Thankfully, I made it safely. I wish this experience was fake, but it is not, and it strangely still sits in my brain to this day. It was after Christmas of 2015. I stopped at around 12:30 a.m. for gas, but needed to use the pisser and get some chicory. After filling up, I walked into the main building and took care of business. When I left, I was maybe halfway to the gas station part of the property when 2 kids approached me. They wore jeans and hoodies, no gloves, boots, or anything. Please keep in mind I am 6'5", 360. But even though I'm wearing a coat, it was cold. They approached me and asked if they could sit in my truck with me. When I asked why, they said they were cold. I asked, why didn't they go into the rest station? It's open 24 hours. They didn't respond until they asked if they could get in my truck again. One was maybe 14 or 15. The other was 10 or 12. I believe they were boys, but the sex is unknown. Their eyes were jet black, and everything about them seemed strange and dark, otherwise just very unpleasant. I shook my head and walked to my truck, but turned back after 5 to 10 steps and didn't see them anywhere. The location is a well-lit, and you can see into the building easily. I have no idea where they disappeared to. I once worked at a nonprofit, being the program assistant for a drop-in-the-day center for the homeless families. My boss was fired and replaced by a real pain in the ass. This woman was horrible, so much so that, in fact, I set a meeting with her boss, the director. As I am walking toward his office, I'm thinking, controlling my attitude and my words, I was really upset with the way my new boss is behaving. So I make it down the hallway, up the flight of stairs, and I can see his doorway. As I approach, I see him, and he is sitting at a table that seats 8, and he is pointing to the seat he wants me to sit in, right beside him. I am nervous, of course. I set my things down and begin to look up at him. He is motionless, his eyes wide open, peering. His eyes were solid jet black. I mean, solid jet black, no whites, just unblinking, piercing eyes staring into my soul. I was frozen. Nobody else was around to see this. Instant dread and the sense of pure evil came over me. I could barely speak, but I muttered some of my issues and, as quick as possible, left his office. I've always noticed he has a weird thing with blinking and his hands, almost like he would long blink while controlling his hands in front of a group of people. Not the case when I was in his office, completely creepy. His eyes normally are a bluish gray, while outside of the office, not black like I had seen. Mab investigates. I will keep you in my prayers on the 27th, buddy. Oh, yeah, Shackleneck saw the cop car a couple Saturdays ago. I brought him around to see it. I said, come over here, Nick. Mab, you're getting the shaft reduction? Dude, you got to keep that thing fucking long. The fucking lot lizards love it. Oh! Oh, yeah, baby. Sounds good, George. Sounds good. Too big for my wife. Get a new wife. No, I'm just kidding, Mrs. Investigates. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Or you can always keep a lot lizard on the side. Mike Turner. I missed you. I'm sorry. How are you, Mike Turner? Scaly. That's what spit's for. Oh, fuck. Why did I say that? That was rude. I don't have any short Nephilim stories. I think the short ones are like made up, if you ask me. You sold your Oogie board? What's an Oogie board? Are you trying to say Ouija board? You never sell them. You just fucking bring them to the woods and bury them. Don't burn it. Bury them. Put some holy water on it. Don't pee on it. Holy water. Selling the problem to someone else. Good morning from Germany. Good morning, my friend. How are you? Akim. Yeah, I would never, ever, ever burn a Ouija board. What if you drank the holy water, then peed on it? I'm not really sure. No, Delirium, I haven't. But you know what? Tonight we will. We will for you. For you, we will. Have you seen there's a video on like the and no, Clint, I don't have any aquatic tonight, buddy. Bury it in a cemetery. Well, Roberta, that's a little dangerous. Ba 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 ba. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? I fucking forgot. Yeah, like okay, I buried the conjuring water in my neighbor's yard. Hi, Libra. How are you, dearie? Good night, Girth. Girth Brooks is going to bed. I'm here to the end. She never says hi to me. Ever. She's fucking mean to me. Good night, Tim. Have a good night, buddy. She's not here tonight, Libra. We live in New York, specifically in the Binghamton area. We would even go to Evergreen Cemetery and Oswego a lot. I think someone's here from that area. Libra, I said hi to you, dear, and I even blew you a kiss. You always fucking blow me off. Always. Always, always, always. God damn it. All right. We live in New York, specifically Binghamton. We even go to the Evergreen Cemetery in Oswego a lot. We would go and take pictures during the day because it's beautiful. The highest peak of the cemetery looked out over a main downtown area. And once night is set, it is an incredible sight. Anyway, before this experience, I had a previous encounter after dark with my fiance and his friends, but this was nothing like the others. What's up, Lynn? After dark, the cemetery entire ambiance changes in an instant. I am hyper aware of every corner of vision, my hearing, and I just feel incredibly uneasy. My adrenaline starts to rise. So this one night, my younger sister wanted to go and see what I was talking about. So I'm sure, but we need to stay in the car. We enter the cemetery, which is a hill that evens out past the old groundskeeper's house. Then around a right turn, it then turns to a straight hill with an open area of graves to the left and to the right. Then another branch of the road, right up a little ways, we take the turn, which you can keep following or you can turn off and leave. I stop at the small intersection and sit in silence, taking in what we see. The feeling of being watched creeps in after a second or two. My sister then starts to frantically pull my arm, and as I look at her, I notice her gaze is fixated on a gravestone. The best way I can describe what we saw is this. It looked like I was looking at a back of Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but bigger. It was long, emaciated looking and hairless. Then its head whipped around and locked eyes with my sister. She froze and stopped shaking my arm. So I all but slammed the car into drive and speed down the hill out of the cemetery. That all happened so fast that I wasn't able to get a good look at this thing's face. I am not sure I really wanted to. Months passed by and my sister started experiencing strange things at the house, waking up with unknown bruises, feeling being watched every night and just fear of being alone. So I stay over one night with her. And as we lay down for bed, she rolls towards the wall. If you feel like something is staring at you, don't turn around. And let me tell you, she was not wrong. I had a hard time falling asleep, which was weird for me because we both grew up in a house that we were in, so it shouldn't have been a problem. I'm lying on my back, my eyes are closed, listening to the dog chew on his bone near the closet. Then I feel this tall presence at the foot of the bed. I try not to move, thinking I'm just scaring myself because of what she said, but I was wrong. My sister, who I assumed was asleep, slowly reaches over and holds my hand under the blankets and squeezes. The blanket rips off of my feet, and feeling of cold hands on my ankles sends goosebumps up my body. I squeeze her hand back, waiting for it to be over. Now I'll never fall asleep up to this point in the night. I had been wide awake, just lying there. So this happened, all the while being awake. The presence vanished soon after, and I curled up further on the bed and called for the dog. The next morning, I had bruising all over my ankles. Needless to say, I don't spend the night over there anymore. This was a crazy experience, and I have seen this thing on other occasions while in the Evergreen Cemetery. And my sister eventually was able to get this thing out of her house. It's still pretty scary to think about, but sometimes I feel a bit weird when I visit her. This happened in Corydon, Indiana, the summer of 2017. My now ex-wife and I had heard stories of the legend of Lickford Bridge and decided to check it out for ourselves. The story goes that back in the day, a man who used to own the land would take his workers to the bridge and slit their throats and dump their bodies into the river. In more modern times, after the house was renovated along with the bridge, a father killed his young family and buried them under the porch before killing himself on the bridge. There are apparently police reports from that time, and you can see where the porch of the house was being dug up. So it was around 1 a.m. when we decided to go. It was a humid and rather hot summer evening, and we were driving in the windows down in the back of the car. As we turned down Lickford Road to go to the bridge, which is pretty far back in the boonies, it began to get colder. By the time we arrived at the bridge, it was cold enough to see your breath. After crossing the bridge, we noticed what had to have been thousands of fireflies in the trees like Christmas lights. Even after going to the house, we never felt any sense of dread or fear, just a general spooky vibe from the abandoned building. On the way back toward the bridge, as we were about to cross, we heard a noise off to our left down the bank. I figured it sounded like a deer hooving the ground or something along those lines. As we went closer to investigate, it became more clear it was the sound of digging, and the dirt was occasionally being thrown into the water. When I shined my flashlight down the bank, we saw what appeared to be a person in a squatting position and rapidly throwing dirt over their shoulder while digging. Upon closer inspection, this figure was pale white and seemingly emaciated. As my light traveled up its back and came closer to its head, it stopped digging and its head shot up quickly as it briefly turned around to face us. All I remember seeing was sunken black eyes. We made a break for the car. Now the car was covered in dust from the dirt road leading to the bridge, and when I shined the light on the car, I saw several strange handprints with elongated fingers. We drove away and vowed never to go back to the Lickford Bridge. Hi, Libra Poet. How are you? You have a stalker? Please stay safe. I will come to the UK and kick their ass for you, dear. I get them sent to me, Tim. I'll be like, come meet me at the pub. Good night, Mab. Good luck with surgery, buddy. Good night, Liz. I'll keep you in my prayers, brother. Oh, thank you, Lisa Marie. Aramek. I love you. I fucking love you, Aramek. Thank you, Walter T. I got one. I pulled one out for him, too. Romero, how are you? All right. I know, Libra. How are you, though? This is for Aramek. My adventure into the unknown began back in 1990. I remember it was very hot that year in Devon, and the heat wave lasted for weeks. Zilla, thank you for the love, buddy. I think it was August. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I do remember being a hosepipe ban in Devon and other parts of the country. I remember the grass being dry, just like straw. I will never forget it. I was standing in the back garden of my old house when I just happened to look up and see something black far off in the distance. Whatever it was appeared to be descending from the sky, gliding through the air at great speed. It was heading in Aramic's direction, and I was having a terrible time identifying what it could be. It was large, too large to be a bird, and it looked to be the size of a man. I was perplexed as it got closer. I thought it was a skydiver. This is where my life changed forever. This creature unfolded its large bat like wings and began to flap them with tremendous force. I could hear the whooshing sound of its wings of a Mothman type creature made contact with the air. I was holding my glass of Coca-Cola in my right hand and with shock dropped it on the ground. That's sacrilege. I was so scared I didn't know what to do. I just stood there gazing intently at this creature. Time seemed to slow down as this creature flew right over me, casting a large black shadow on the ground. I got a real good look at this creature. There was no visible head on its body, and on its chest there were two large, round, glowing red lights, which I thought were probably its eyes. I could see the veins in its wings. That is how low it was over my head. Its body was all black all over, and it looked like it was wearing some type of tightly fitted suit. What really caught my eyes were its feet. They were heavy looking. This Mothman creature was sure very strange looking. I had never seen anything like it before. The creature flew off directly over Newton Abbot Town Center and off toward the wooded area where I eventually lost sight of it. I was left standing in shock, shaking, paralyzed in fear. What had I witnessed? After this incident, I have been encountering UFOs and other strange phenomena on a daily basis. I've witnessed things that should not exist. Thank you for allowing me to share. And this is the last lot lizard story of the night. Hang on a second. There we go. That's better. Ugh. Ginger, what's going on, buddy? Arabic, thank you so much, man. Thank you. What's up, Black Pill? I love you, bro. I love you. All right. This is the last lot lizard experience, and then we'll do the last experience of the night after this. Don't forget, Thursday, Halloween, live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live stream Halloween, 9 p.m. It was a dark and stormy night as Jake Barlow drove down a lonely stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere. The rain pounded against his windshield, making it difficult to see more than a few feet in front of him. As he pressed on, his fuel gauge dipped dangerously low, and he knew he needed to find a truck stop, and soon. Finally, a sign appeared on the horizon, illuminating the way to a rundown truck stop called Rattleback Junction. Jake pulled in and parked his rig, grateful for a chance to rest and refuel. As he made his way inside, he couldn't help but notice a strange and eerie atmosphere of this place. The lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the corner of the room. Feeling a slight shiver run down his spine, Jake approached the diner counter and ordered a cup of coffee. As he sipped the hot brew, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Glancing around the room, he saw a figure sitting in a corner booth. Obscured by the shadows, Jake couldn't make out much of the figure, but what he could see sent chills down his spine. The figure was a reptilian-type creature with scaly skin and yellow eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light. Its long tail curled around the booth, and its sharp claws tapped against the table. Jake watched in horror as the creature's tongue flicked out to taste the air. He could swear he saw a sly grin spread across its face. Suddenly, the creature stood up and slinked over to Jake, its movements fluid and menacing. As it drew closer, Jake could see that it was dressed in a revealing outfit, with fishnet stockings and high heels that clacked on the floor. Despite the creature's terrifying appearance, Jake couldn't help but feel a twinge of amusement at the absurdity of the situation. "Hey there, handsome," the creature hissed, its voice a strange mixture of seduction and sinisterness. "Looking for some company tonight?" Jake's heart raced as he tried to formulate a response. He had never encountered anything like this before, and he wasn't sure how to react. Part of him wanted to run and scream from the truck stop, but the other part was curious to see where this bizarre encounter might lead. Before Jake could respond, the creature placed a clawed hand on his shoulder, its touch sending a shiver down his spine. "Come on, sugar," it purred. "I promise you'll have the night you won't forget." Jake's mind raced as he tried to think of a way out of the situation. Before he could come up with a plan, the creature leaned in close and whispered in his ear. "Or maybe you'd prefer to be my next meal instead," it hissed, its breath hot and rancid against his skin. With a surge of adrenaline, Jake pushed the creature away and bolted for the door. He could hear the creature's laughter echoing behind him as he ran out into this rain-soaked night. As he drove away from Rattleback Junction, Jake couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the back of his mind. The image of a reptilian truck stop prostitute creature would haunt him for weeks to come, a strange and terrifying memory that he could never quite forget. And as he continued down the highway, he couldn't help but wonder what other bizarre and terrifying creatures lurk in the shadows of the night, waiting to prey on unsuspecting travelers like himself. But one thing was for certain: he would never forget this encounter with this scary yet humorous reptilian truck stop prostitute at the Rattleback Junction. Hi, Belle. How are you, bud? Thank you, Jeannie. I love you, baby girl. Good night. I'll see you in the morning, all right, Bubba? Daddy loves you, baby. Katie Byers, you're friends with all of us. In a little bit, DB Mac, I promise. That's how we'll end it, baby. I promise you. Yeah, it has been troll free, actually. Poppy! I'm Poppy. What does $20 mean? So I have a shirt. Excuse me. I have a shirt and it says, "I'm not gay, but $20 is $20." And you are sending positive vibes, Libra. You are the most positive person I know. So thank you, Lisa. So Mike Patton, lead singer of Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, Dead Cross, and many other amazing bands, just an all-around great singer, wore this shirt called $20 is $20. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. So that's why I just say it. So Randall, have a good night, my friend. I hope you feel better. I really do. I cannot believe you're going through all that pain. I think it means like, well, I'm not going to say what it means, but it's a dirty meaning. It means I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. $20 is $20. Oh, oh. There you go, DB Mac. Hang on a second. I got to do the ball shake. Ugh. I think I got them unstuck on that time. There. No, they're not unstuck. I got to get some fucking powder on those motherfuckers. All right. This took place in a little area called Washington, Pennsylvania. And this is the last encounter of the night, guys. My little brother and I, maybe not. Maybe we'll keep it going a little bit. How about that? We'll keep it going a little bit. You want to keep it going? Y'all want to keep it going? Fuck yeah, we'll keep it going. My little brother and I walked around Washington one summer night, 2023. Washington's a little town in Pennsylvania. There isn't really much to do out here. He would be going to college next year, so I figured I'd do something nice and hang out with him before he left. I'm self-employed, so I really didn't have to worry about putting in for vacation or anything. We spent nearly all of the winter playing my old Xbox 360 games like Halo 3 until the wee hours. Now, I've been a fan of podcasts and YouTube videos where they talk about paranormal encounters forever, but I never imagined having one myself. It was the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas. It was a picture-perfect Christmas, too. Fresh snow on the ground. All the houses were decorated. Flickering lights on every roof and an inflatable in every yard. Everyone had the Christmas spirit this year. I don't think there was one house undecorated except fucking mine. My little brother wanted to drive around and look at the houses, so I agreed to drive with him and look at the houses, and that's what he wanted to do. So we get bundled up in our winter clothes and pile into my pickup. Me in my big puffy winter coat, toboggan, scarf, and sweatpants. Why has he got a toboggan? And him in his full Under Armour cold gear. I swear the little guy lives at the gym and loves wearing anything that shows off his gains. I even turned on the radio for some Christmas tunes. We were just passing the nursing home in a town called Grove at Washington, and I got this eerie feeling creeping up my spine for some weird reason. I had heard stories of patients who stayed there and even workers who worked there. Just a bad nursing home, toxic workplace. They can't keep anybody there because people keep running off, having inattentive staff. Maintenance is lacking too, I guess, as stuff is always breaking. Back in 2020, they had part of the roof fall in and trap 4 residents who had to be rescued by firemen. It was all over the news. Anyway, I digress. Well, we get down to this bottom of the hill, and the next thing I know, there's a 9-foot dark brown-haired creature that looks like a big, super buff Dogman looking thing on steroids. It bolts out of the woods into the middle of the road and in front of us. Its fur is all matted with snow and mud and sticks and leaves. It's got this really nasty looking scar across its face and some smaller gnarly looking gashes on its chest. Its eyes are bloodshot and red. It is baring its teeth and growling so loud we could hear it over the truck and the radio. This thing looks like it's not having a good day. I had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting it. I'll tell you what, I felt like all the color in my body drained out, and my eyes were bulging out of my skull like Looney Tunes. My heart was ready to bust out of my chest. I couldn't do a thing but grip the steering wheel. My brother is in the passenger seat, just losing his shit in complete hysterics. He was in such hysterics, he was trying to hop in my seat and hug me. This thing, the whole time, is just in the middle of the road staring at us. Eventually, it just got bored or whatever. It let out this horrendous howl that chilled me to the bone and ran off into the woods behind people's backyards and such. It's easily cleared every fence until we couldn't see it anymore. We both eventually calmed down enough, somewhat, to where we could continue our evening. But the whole time we were afraid of bumping into that thing again. Discord's weird. Your kids are on Discord? Are they older? San Francisco? Discord's so weird. Teens. My daughters, that's weird because my daughters don't use Discord. My daughter's always on fucking TikTok and what's that other thing? What's that other thing? They have fucking streaks. TikTok and I don't know. Snapchat. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. My daughters have like streaks. They're like, we got a 400-day streak going on. I'm like, what the fuck? Don't you just fucking say hi to each other? Yeah, isn't Discord for gaming? That's what I always thought it was for. I don't have no Telegram. TikTok is brain rot. It is. No, I think Discord's for gaming. Twitch is for gaming, but Discord is for gaming too. They use it in gaming, like to talk to each other. Yeah. I don't use Facebook either. Facebook's dirty. You guys want to see my new tattoo that I'm getting? I'm getting it next week. I already made the appointment. It's going right here. Well, Shari, I'll tell you a story. The reason why I keep getting tattoos is because when I was younger, we bought a tattoo gun, and me and my friends just tatted each other up, and it was terrible. Like I had these. When I was 17, I looked like fucking Joe Dirt's unloved cousin. I had so many queer fucking. Did I just say that word? I had so many terrible tattoos that were just bullshit. And I'm like, I'm gonna get every single tattoo covered up that like I have on my back. I have this tattoo that is just terrible. Terrible. Show it. No, I'm embarrassed of it. I'm a doodle pad. It's oh shit. The crying day I'm not good with Spanish. Crying Hang on, I'll tell you in a second. What? Stop taking my money, Google. Crying del de la Norte, I think. It's like the Blessed Mary, not the Madonna. It's like the Blessed Mary. I have nut tats from when I was 12. I'm 49, and they're still. My daughter, my little Abby. What inspired it? I was thinking about getting the Virgin Mary, but then I was like, no. I'm like, I don't want to. And then I'm gonna get the praying hands right here, but I wanted something different. I wanted something like that has her crying. Kind of like the crying Madonna. My favorite tattoo, I'll show you my favorite tattoo. Right there. That's my ex-wife's name. So I had her like spell her name out in cursive, and then I put it right here because my daughter's names are right here. So I had her name in her cursive writing. And then when we got divorced, I was looking at it and I'm like, what am I going to do with it? And I looked at the tattoo guy and I go, put a line through that fucking thing. Luke, let me hear that sucker. I want to hear that story. The crying lady of crying. It's the Crying Virgin de Guadalupe. The weeping statue of the Virgin Mary. All right. 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to crash. I love you guys. I'm going to put a video up in like 20 minutes. Have a good night. And thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate it. Stay well. I'll see you on Halloween night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys? If you guys don't show, I'll still be here, but I'll be by myself. And that'll be okay because I'm okay by myself. I love myself nowadays. Mike Turner, have a good night, buddy. DB Mac, don't let your meatloaf. JJ, be good. Danny, Libra, Jeannie, Lisa Marie, Sonia, George Coker. Good night, Neck. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. See ya.